In my previous life, the crown prince and my younger half-sister were hung from the city gate, forcing me to choose between them. With a heavy heart, I chose the crown prince. My half-sister fell from the gate, shattering both her legs. 2 years later, pregnant, she drowned herself in the river during my wedding to the crown prince. The crown prince endured in silence until he secured the throne, then executed my entire family 3 times over. My 2 children met a gruesome death in prison. My heart shattered as I demanded why he did this. He sneered coldly, "I merely avenged the woman I loved. Had the Ning family not forced me to marry you, how could Rower have taken her own life? Ning Xiang, you deserve every bit of this. You tore me and Ro apart forever, now you shall die a miserable death." When I opened my eyes again, I had reincarnated back to that fateful day of choice. Hearing Crown Prince Chang Zhao scream hoarsely for Ning Ro's rescue, I curved my lips into a smile. Since he loved my younger half-sister so deeply, this lifetime, I would grant him his wish. When Prince Jing rebelled, he abducted Crown Prince Chang Zhao and my younger half-sister, Ning Ro. In my previous life, I never understood how both could be captured simultaneously. By the time I donned armor and led soldiers to rescue them, Chang Zhao and Ning Ro hung from the city walls, clinging to life by a thread. Prince Jing's face twisted with madness, his eyes bloodshot. This time, I admit defeat to your Ning family. Never did I expect that even with Ning Jiao occupied, you, a daughter of the Ning house, could lead an army to defeat my men. I concede my loss wholeheartedly. However, he sneered contemptuously, drawing his sword and pointing it at the rope suspending Chang Zhao beside him. Today, you can only save one of these 2. One is the crown prince. The other is your sister. Choose. In my past life, faced with this choice, I pondered briefly before selecting Chang Zhao. He was the crown prince. Had I abandoned him for Ning Ro, the Ning family would surely bear the stain of selfish disloyalty. When the emperor inquired, I too would be held accountable. Thus, weighing both options, I declared to Prince Jing, I choose the crown prince. Upon hearing this, tears welled in Ning Ro's eyes. "No. Don't, sister. Save me." As the rope suspending her was severed, her slender form plummeted straight down. Chang Zhao roared in agony, "Rower!" The army launched its assault on the city. Amidst the chaos, Chang Zhao's cries were utterly drowned out. After I rescued him, he had already regained his composure, showing no trace of his earlier terror. He smiled at me and said, "Thank you, Miss Ning, for saving me. Chang Zhao will surely repay you in the future." Such composure made me look at him with new respect. Little did I know, he was merely concealing his hatred deep within. For his role in quelling the rebellion, my father was promoted twice. Among the noble families of the capital, ours, the Nings, shone brightest. My marriage became a hot potato. Marrying beneath my station was unthinkable. Yet there were no eligible young nobles of comparable age. Thus, with a wave of his hand, the emperor bestowed me upon the crown prince as his principal consort. After the betrothal, Chang Zhao grew ever more tender toward me. He didn't mind my martial background, my skill with weapons, or my lack of domestic arts. Instead, he often praised my grace and beauty, telling me I need only be myself. Gradually, I too developed a fondness for Chang Zhao. On the day of our formal wedding, I was adorned in splendor that filled the capital, envied by all. The sole unexpected event was my younger half-sister, Ning Ro, who drowned herself in the river that very day. After falling from the city wall, she had miraculously survived, though her legs were left crippled. Feeling guilty toward her, I had ordered my maids and servants to care for her diligently. I never imagined she would suddenly throw herself into the river. To uncover the truth, I had her body recovered. The examination revealed she was 2 months pregnant. This surprised me even more. Yet despite extensive inquiries, I never discovered who the father was. Ultimately, all concluded that Ning Ro had engaged in illicit relations without a matchmaker, become pregnant, and drowned herself out of shame. The matter was thus laid to rest. It wasn't until 8 years later, when my entire family was imprisoned and my 2 children met a tragic death, that I learned the truth from Chang Zhao. That child was mine. My poor rower. My eldest son, both perished in that icy river because of you. Chang Zhao, now emperor, glared at me with bloodshot eyes, seething with fury. Had she not broken her leg, she would have been my rightful empress. Ning Xiang, do you realize every moment spent with you fills me with revulsion? Did you truly believe I desired to marry you? Wrong. It was your Ning family that manipulated everything, forcing me into this union. The day Ro died, I swore an oath, your Ning family, and every soul who betrayed Ro, none shall die a natural death. 8 years of marriage, and only today have I seen Chang Zhao's true face. How I regret it. Regret not seeing through him, elevating a venomous snake to power, leading to the brutal deaths of dozens of my Ning family members. My own children and I perished too. Opening my eyes again, I returned to that day when the enemy besieged the city. I saw Chang Zhao and Ning Ro hanging from the city walls. Prince Jing still demanded, Ning Xiang, which one do you choose? 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 What's there to choose? Just kill them both. My heart raged. Staring at Prince Jing, I felt this man was utterly deranged. With hostages in hand, he neither bargained nor killed them to vent his rage. Instead, he forced me into this impossible choice. He could have killed them both outright, yet insisted on making me choose. Was it just to torment me one last time? Then he should renege after I choose. Killing my pick, not like in my past life, when he actually kept his word and spared Chang Zhao. I thought coldly, took a deep breath, and forced an anxious expression. Prince Jing, you're surrounded. Release them both if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, when the main army arrives, how long can your remaining troops hold out? Surrender now. Provoked by my words, Prince Jing sneered coldly, no need to wait. I can kill them now. Choose or not, if you don't choose. I'll choose for you. With that, he drew his sword and pointed it at Ning Ro. I felt a pang of resentment. Why wasn't he pointing it at Chang Zhao like in my past life? As the tension reached a breaking point, Chang Zhao, bound like a dumpling, shouted, "Don't harm Rower. Take it out on this crown prince instead." Oh, so the crown prince is a hopeless romantic. Prince Jing sneered, his gaze fixed on me. Perched on my horse, I feigned surprise at Chang Zhao's words and exclaimed, "Your Highness, the crown prince is so deeply in love with Sister Rower. He'd rather die than see her hurt." The soldiers behind me froze at my words. The suspended Ning Ro clearly hadn't expected the crown prince to choose her. After a moment of shock, her eyes filled with tears as she looked pitifully at Chang Zhao, crown prince. Seeing the beauty gazing at him with such tender affection, Chang Zhao's protective instincts flared instantly. He declared loudly, "Quite right. Prince Jing, if you turn back now, it's not too late. Release me and Rower, and I'll intercede for you with His Majesty." Prince Jing looked at him as if he were a fool. "Do you think, at this point, I still have a way out?" From the moment he decided to rebel, the outcome was clear. Success meant becoming emperor, failure meant death. Prince Jing lost patience, snapping at me impatiently, "So, will you choose or not?" I glanced at Chang Zhao, then at Ning Ro. When she noticed my gaze lingering on her, Ning Ro began struggling frantically. "No. Don't. Don't." Almost everyone assumed I would choose Chang Zhao. Ning Ro knew it too, as a concubine's daughter from a general's household. She couldn't compare to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. But the raw instinct for survival made her weep until her beauty faded, pleading pitifully. I glanced at Chang Zhao. True to form, he couldn't contain himself. His face etched with anguish. Rower, don't worry. I won't let anyone hurt you. He turned his gaze fixedly on me. This Crown Prince commands you to save Rower. This was the very words I'd been waiting for. I lifted my head and declared, His Highness the Crown Prince has spoken. This humble maiden dares not disobey. Prince Jing, did you hear? The Crown Prince commands me to choose Ning Ro. So, I choose her. With that, I stepped back, avoiding the blood that would soon rain down from Chang Zhao. The soldiers behind me were speechless. I even heard the nearest soldier mutter in bewilderment. How can the Crown Prince be so consumed by romantic entanglements that he's willing to risk his life? We'd rushed here through dust and hardship to save him, only to find he'd given up on life himself. Everyone felt a bit strange about it. Prince Jing also froze, staring at me in shock. You're not choosing Chang Zhao? My face was filled with sorrow. This humble maiden would dearly love to choose the Crown Prince. But how could I dare disobey His Highness's command? Go ahead! Chang Zhao stood frozen, clearly unprepared for my choice of Ning Ro. His phoenix eyes widened to their limits. His lips parted as if to speak. But words had already been spoken. Water spilled cannot be retrieved. Ning Ro gazed at him with gratitude. Your Highness, you are so kind to Rower. Chang Zhao's head buzzed. When our eyes met, his gaze burned with resentment, as if demanding, how could you truly abandon me? Though Chang Zhao wanted me to save Ning Ro, that didn't mean he wanted to die. His words were merely meant to put me in a difficult position, because he knew I couldn't possibly disregard the Crown Prince's peril. That's why he dared to speak so boldly. But he hadn't anticipated that I would actually make this choice. The atmosphere both above and below the city walls had grown tense and heavy. Chang Zhao desperately signaled to me with his eyes. I blinked innocently, pretending not to understand, and asked Prince Jing, aren't you going to release her? Prince Jing let out a long, hollow laugh. He swung his sword, aiming the blade at the rope binding Chang Zhao. Very well. As Miss Ning requested. With a sharp ripping sound, the blade severed the rope. Chang Zhao's face drained of color. As he plummeted, his composure shattered. Save! A dull thud echoed as Chang Zhao crashed to the ground. His legs trembled violently as he coughed up a mouthful of blood. I commanded the soldiers to storm the city, and had Chang Zhao carried away. Soon after, the physician discreetly relayed news. Chang Zhao had broken both legs in the fall and now lay unconscious. Observing how this outcome diverged sharply from my past life, I curved my lips. Since he cherished Ning so deeply, I would grant him his wish. May his love help him retain the Crown Prince's position. I laughed scornfully, seized the reins, and charged into the fray. After severing his own ropes, Prince Jing took his own life. The remaining rebels posed no threat. Within days, the capital returned to calm. My father, honored for saving the emperor, accompanied me to the palace audience. Along the way, he suddenly asked, "Did you not save the Crown Prince?" I lifted my eyelids. No, father. He was not worth saving. Father gave me a puzzled look but asked no further questions. He only said, "If His Majesty holds you accountable, leave everything to me." A warmth filled my heart. Rest assured, father, I know what I'm doing. In my past life, the delicate Ning Ro survived a fall from the city walls. Chang Zhao wouldn't be in mortal danger either. But these legs, they were beyond saving. Upon reaching the throne hall, Emperor Qing first bestowed rewards upon my father. Then he turned to me. I hear you chose your sister over the Crown Prince? Chang Zhao was so gravely wounded, the emperor's displeasure was inevitable. I was prepared. Kneeling, I replied, Your Majesty. Please discern clearly. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince commanded this humble daughter to choose Ning Ro. How could I refuse? Thousands of soldiers witnessed this at the city walls, they can all bear witness. The Emperor paused. The tale of Ning Ro and Chang Zhao had become a celebrated legend throughout the capital in recent days. And the Emperor had naturally heard of it. That the Crown Prince, a man of such stature, would risk his life for a woman, truly. It moved young ladies to tears. Though some deemed the Crown Prince's actions rash. Who dared openly criticize him? Except the Emperor. The Crown Prince is willful, and you let him run amok? The Emperor slammed his palm onto the armrest. His eyes filled with disappointment. Could you not have simply rescued the Crown Prince? I lowered my head timidly. Your humble servant is dull-witted. Father stepped forward. Your Majesty. My daughter commanded troops for the first time. We never anticipated Prince Jing's treachery, that he would take the Crown Prince hostage. Failing to rescue him was our failure. We beg your Majesty's forgiveness. Father knelt. His words and tone shielding me. If your Majesty must punish me, punish my father first. The Emperor sighed. Enough. Your family protected the Crown Prince, that is your merit. As for the Crown Prince, he brought this upon himself. Merit and fault balanced each other out. Unlike in my past life, Father didn't receive 2 promotions. But he did earn additional rewards. I breathed a sigh of relief. After all, the Ning family had been far too conspicuous in my previous life. Perhaps a more low-key existence this time around would be for the best. Leaving the hall, Father and I walked beneath the vermilion walls when a eunuch hurried past with an Imperial physician. Assuming they were headed to the Eastern Palace, I stopped them to inquire about Chang Zhao's condition. To my surprise, the eunuch stammered. This servant is going to Wanyun Palace. Wanyun Palace? After a moment's thought, I recalled, the 6th Prince's palace? Yes. Your Highness. The 6th Prince has been unwell again lately. So His Majesty ordered me to bring the Imperial physician to examine him. The 6th Prince, Chang Xin, had been immersed in medicinal concoctions since birth. Due to his frail constitution and his birth mother's low status, he held little presence within the palace. I glanced at the Imperial physician, noticing a hint of disdain and carelessness in his expression. Clearly, he held little regard for this unloved prince. I remarked casually. His Majesty just mentioned the 6th Prince. With the Crown Prince unwell, the 6th Prince must not suffer any misfortune. Go on with your duties, eunuch. At these words, the physician's careless demeanor vanished. Watching them walk away, I wondered how Chang Zhao would cope upon waking. This palace was full of hidden gems. Through my deliberate inquiries, news from the Eastern Palace kept coming. After waking to discover his legs were severed, Chang Zhao, furious he could never stand again, smashed every piece of jade in his chamber. The Emperor, for his sake, summoned renowned physicians from across the land. Yet 2 months passed, and none could offer a solution. Chang Zhao grew volatile and quick to anger, lashing out at servants at the slightest provocation. His once praised reputation for virtue crumbled amid the palace servants' complaints. The Emperor's patience was finite. Seeing Chang Zhao's legs beyond hope, he gradually ceased visiting the East Palace. This outcome plunged Chang Zhao into panic. Realizing that his constant blaming of fate changed nothing, he began to feign his former self, just as he had in his previous life, transforming back into the elegant Crown Prince. Yet, late at night when all was quiet, the occasional roars of rage echoing through the Eastern Palace revealed that his feigned indifference was a lie. His disability caused the ministers who once supported him to waver. Chang Zhao burned with anxiety yet could do nothing, sinking deeper into regret and agony with each passing day. In stark contrast, my life grew increasingly carefree. I spent my leisure hours practicing swordsmanship and galloping horses, utterly unburdened. One day, While sipping tea at the drunken immortal pavilion, I suddenly saw Ning Ro alight from a carriage and slip furtively into an alley. Curiosity drew me to follow. She pushed open a courtyard gate, and waiting within was none other than Chang Zhao. Spotting him, Ning Ro rushed toward him eagerly. "Your Highness, you've suffered so much." Chang Zhao looked at her with an unsettled expression, reaching out to brush her hair. "Rower, you're the only one who still cares for this prince." The palace was a place of climbing over others to rise higher. After losing his legs, his status had plummeted. And all of this was to save Ning Ro. Chang Zhao narrowed his eyes, his gaze toward Ning Ro filled with extraordinary complexity. When he saw her swift, unimpeded stride, a flicker of resentment crossed his eyes. But Ning Ro, nestled against his knee, missed it entirely. Her face flushed. She was utterly lost in love. "Your Highness, Rower will never abandon you. Please let me stay by your side forever." Ning Ro lifted her eyes, gazing at Chang Zhao with tender devotion. Chang Zhao regained his pride under her admiring gaze. He smiled faintly, lifting her chin. "The time is not yet ripe. Once I've stabilized the situation, I'll bring you to the palace. The urgent task now is to find a noble lady to be the crown prince's consort, to become my new ally." Chang Zhao drew a packet of powder from his sleeve and handed it to Ning Ro. "Rower, only you can help me. Slip this powder into your elder sister's bowl, then lure her to Qingying Tower. Once this matter is settled, I shall never treat you unfairly." What? Ning Ro recoiled in shock, staring at the powder packet. She hesitated to take it, instead biting her lower lip, brimming with tears. "Your Highness, didn't you say you only loved Rower? Why marry my elder sister? And make me poison her?" Chang Zhao clenched the armrest in fury, his gaze dark and menacing. "There's no better choice than Ning Xiang now. I need the Ning family's military power. Besides, if not for her, how would I have fallen from the city wall and broken both legs? She owes me for all this." Ning Ro protested tearfully, "But I'm also a daughter of the Ning family." "That's different. There's a distinction between legitimate and concubine-born children. If it weren't for Ning Xiang, how could Ning Zhao truly serve me?" Seeing Ning Ro still hesitating, Chang Zhao shoved the potion directly into her palm. "Rower, I swear to you, I will never betray you. Marrying your sister is only temporary. Once I ascend the throne, I will grant her death and make you empress." Ning Ro's face drained of color. After trembling for a moment, she finally nodded. She chose to trust Chang Zhao. Back at the Ning residence, Ning Ro indeed came to see me as the crown prince had said. She presented a bowl of osmanthus rice wine pudding, claiming it was a new sweet soup she'd recently learned to make, asking me to sample her handiwork. Seeing her evasive eyes, I sneered inwardly. "Put it down." Ning Ro hesitated, then gritted her teeth. "Sister, you should drink it while it's hot. It'll get cold soon." She stepped forward, intending to feed me the soup herself. I sealed her acupoints and forced the soup into her mouth. Choking and coughing, tears streaming down her face, she gasped, "Sister, stop." I smashed the bowl, released her pressure points, and looked down at her. "Ning Ro, do you truly believe I don't know what you're scheming? I gave you a chance. If she'd been willing to put down the bowl and leave, I would have turned a blind eye. But she chose to harm me for Chang Zhao's sake. That I cannot tolerate. Your soup? You'll have to suffer it yourself." With that, I turned and left. Ning Ro covered her mouth and rushed out the door. Her maid later reported she'd gone to Qingying Pavilion. Chang Zhao was waiting there, though he hadn't expected me to be the one arriving. After Ning Ro frantically explained everything, Chang Zhao grumbled about her incompetence but still followed her into the room. The maid sneered. The eldest miss didn't see it. But the second miss was completely naked, clinging to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, and just then, the door was pushed open by the young master from the Li family. The Li family's young master? You mean Li Zi? I recall he's notorious for being a womanizer and has a loose tongue. If he learned anything, word would spread throughout the capital within 2 days. The maid nodded, yes. Him. Young Master Li stumbled into the Crown Prince's chambers drunk and witnessed the Crown Prince with the second young miss. A wave of relief washed over me. Thank goodness I didn't fall for the trap. If I'd ended up in that situation, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to stop myself from killing someone. Ning Ro was gentle-natured. She certainly wouldn't kill anyone. After returning from Qingying Pavilion, she did nothing but weep. By the time father got home, Li Zi's big mouth had already spread the news. Now the entire capital knows of Chang Zhao's romantic escapades with my second sister. Father's face turned ashen with rage, punishing Ning Gru to kneel in the ancestral hall for several nights. How could I have raised such a shameless daughter? Even if you adore the Crown Prince, you shouldn't have secretly pledged your life to him. Father's rage was fierce, his expression stern as never before, terrifying Ning Ro into unceasing sobs. Yet she stubbornly declared, His Royal Highness and I truly love each other. He would risk his life for me. He treats me far better than you ever have. You ungrateful daughter. Father clutched his chest, his usually robust frame nearly staggering from the fury. Has the Ning household ever denied you food or drink? How could you be so short-sighted? Ning Ro, do you truly believe His Highness the Crown Prince will never regret this? If one day he turns his anger upon you because of this, can you guarantee you'll escape unscathed? Ning Ro faltered for a moment, then retorted with unwavering resolve, he wouldn't treat me that way. Father, your heart belongs only to sister. But the Crown Prince holds me within his. Utterly foolish. Father, utterly disillusioned, swept his sleeves and stormed out. Watching my love-struck sister, I recalled her fate in my previous life, drowning herself in the river. Chang Zhao professes love for her. But how much of that love is genuine? How much of it will endure? It's merely the guilt of the living toward the dead. If Chang Zhao truly loved Ning Ro, even if she lost both legs, he could still find a way to marry her as his consort. All he'd need to do is relinquish the Crown Prince's position. But Chang Zhao can't bear to give it up. He craved my support and that of the Ning family, yet played the victim, feigning helplessness. He shamelessly shifted all blame onto me, squeezing every last drop of value from me, forgetting that if Ning Ro hadn't met with him in secret, she never would have been captured by Prince Jing. The final straw that drove Ning Ro to jump into the river was handed to her by Chang Zhao himself. He betrayed his vows to Ning Ro, pushing her to choose death in her despair. Compared to him, my greatest mistake was choosing him when forced to pick between 2 options. Now that I have the chance to correct that error, I won't let it slip away. Looking at Ning Ro in the ancestral hall, I wish her well. My past life taught me one thing, to respect others' choices. Chang Zhao's choices. And Ning Ro's as well. 3 days later, envoys arrived from the Crown Prince's residence, with rumors swirling unchecked. Both the Ning family and the Eastern Palace were unsettled. Thus, Chang Zhao sent men to escort Ning Ro to his estate. Naturally, as a concubine, a woman whose reputation had been tarnished could never become crown princess, even though their love story had been celebrated throughout the capital just months prior. Once it touched upon matters of chastity and virtue, it became a despised cautionary tale. Ning Ro, however, was overjoyed. On the day of her departure, she came to see me specifically, her face flushed with a rosy glow. She beamed with happiness. Sister, you surpass me in everything. I cannot practice martial arts, nor do I hold father's favor. But in the end, I have found one thing that surpasses you. I have found the man who loves me most in all the world. I responded with bored indifference, I wish you happiness. As a Ning family daughter, I had never truly dreamed of a love where one heart is one. And white-haired, we part not. In my past life with Chang Zhao, though there was some affection, it was ultimately driven by mutual benefit. I didn't understand Ning Ro's feelings, nor did I intend to. After seeing her off, the autumn hunt arrived within days. Father took me to the hunting grounds. He hunted with the emperor and several princes in the field, while I rode horses around the tents with the princess, enjoying the autumn scenery. I never expected Chang Zhao to be here. Since his legs were crippled, he required constant attendance. Seated in his wheelchair, he had grown noticeably thinner. As I reined my horse and rode alone in the breeze, he suddenly appeared before me, his gaze fixed deeply on me. After a long moment, he softly uttered 2 words, Xiang'er. Xiang'er. That name brought back memories of my past life. I shot Chang Zhao a cold glance, bowed briefly, then turned to leave. Chang Zhao pushed his wheelchair urgently after me. Xiang'er. I heard you love fine jade. This is a new jade pendant I had carved. I wish to give it to you. I don't need it. Without looking back, I replied, I do love fine jade, which is precisely why I detest flaws in jade and in people. My words stabbed him, shattering the tenderness he'd forced. His voice cracked as he roared, Stop. My pace didn't falter. Chang Zhao grew frantic. I command you to stop. He was still the crown prince. After all. I halted, watching from a distance as he laboriously pushed his wheelchair. Sweat drenched Chang Zhao's hair. I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Your Highness, my sister Ning Ro has already married you. What more do you want? In my past life, he exterminated my Ning family for Ning Ro. Now she's safe and sound in the Eastern Palace. How could he still be dissatisfied? Chang Zhao's face paled, his fingers trembling uncontrollably. I saw clear fury in his eyes, his expression filled with resentment. Ning Xiang, do you not owe this prince anything? I exclaimed in surprise. What do I owe you? Chang Zhao's eyes turned red. If not for you, how would this prince have broken both legs? You are the one who caused this to me. Of course you must take responsibility. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Your Highness, it was Prince Jing who bound you to the city tower. It was you who forced the servant to choose between saving you or Ning Ro. All these were your own decisions. What do they have to do with me? Chang Zhao gritted his teeth. I am the crown prince. Can't you tell what matters most? This humble servant understands perfectly well, which is precisely why I dare not offend your Highness. Your commands, I can only obey. I swung onto my horse, unwilling to waste more breath on Chang Zhao, and prepared to return to my own tent. Chang Zhao tried to chase after me, but unfortunately, the wheelchair was pushed too hastily. He must have hit something, because both man and chair tumbled to the ground. A foul stench wafted up. Chang Zhao reached down and found his hands covered in hardened horse dung. He lay sprawled in the pile, crawling out in disgust, only to collide head-on with the returning hunting party of Imperial princes. Chang Zhao's face paled. The thought of his brothers seeing him in this state filled him with dread. The mockery would be unbearable. He scrambled desperately to move, but it was too late. The galloping steeds halted abruptly beside him. Several princes on horseback spotted him and called out with mocking smiles. Your Highness? Chang Zhao clenched his fists tightly, yet dared not lift his head to meet their gaze. He feared seeing the blatant mockery in their eyes. And even more, their feigned pity. The third prince deliberately lingered, feigning surprise. Your Highness, why are you lying here? Where are your attendants? It stinks. What is that smell? The fourth prince covered his nose, and the entire group peered down at Chang Zhao. Upon discovering he was sprawled in a pile of horse dung, someone couldn't help but snort with laughter. Chang Zhao's face flushed crimson, wishing he could sink into a crack in the ground. Not a single prince offered to help him up. After a round of mocking and ridicule, the third prince declared, "Your Highness, please wait a moment. I shall summon attendants to assist you immediately." They scattered like a whirlwind. Chang Zhao lifted his trembling head and saw the usually frail sixth prince, Chang Xin. Among them, though pale, he was dressed in splendid robes and mounted a fine steed, leaving Chang Zhao far behind. I glanced back occasionally, wanting to laugh but afraid my laughter might be too loud. Shortly after returning to the tent, Chang Xin presented me with a portion of today's hunted game, saying it was to repay a past kindness. I was puzzled and asked him where this kindness had come from. Chang Xin smiled shyly. "Miss Ning once mentioned me to Imperial physician Lin. Because of just those words from you, my circumstances changed dramatically. I thought carefully and guessed he meant the time I entered the palace. But that was just a casual remark. How could it be considered a favor?" Chang Xin seemed to read my thoughts, shaking his head. "Miss Ning, to you it was just a word. But that very word made Imperial physician Lin take my health seriously. Only then could I receive proper treatment and appear before His Majesty more often. So he's very grateful to me." Watching him, I couldn't help but marvel at how different people truly are. In my past life, I helped Chang Zhao so much, yet it only led to my entire family's tragic death. This lifetime, Chang Xin feels gratitude toward me for a single remark. I pressed him further about his condition. Chang Xin paused, sighing. "Truthfully, this ailment has plagued me since childhood. Every 15th day of the month, an excruciating pain sears my chest like a blazing fire. Over time, it has depleted my qi and blood, making recovery difficult." The more I listened to his description, the more uneasy I felt. Finally, I couldn't help but furrow my brow and ask, "May I inquire, Your Highness? Does this burning pain intensify with the seasons? Growing worse in the cold?" Chang Xin looked at me in surprise. "How did you know, Miss Ning?" I gazed deeply at him and lowered my voice. "In my humble opinion, this is likely poison." Chang Xin's expression changed instantly. "So it is poison?" Truthfully, he had long suspected that his persistent illness might stem from poisoning. Yet despite extensive inquiries, he had found no answers. I nodded, recalling my past life as an empress in the palace, where I had encountered this very toxin. Its name is Frost Holding Dew. Though its name sounds beautiful, it is a deadly poison. It creates the illusion of innate weakness, with the most prominent symptom being this burning pain. To counteract this poison, one crucial herb is required, the ling flower. I shared what I knew with Chang Xin. His expression grew solemn as he bowed to me with earnestness. "Miss Ning, your kindness today is a debt I shall never repay. Henceforth, Miss Ning's enemies shall be Chang Xin's enemies." Watching him depart, I curved my lips into a smile. In my past life, my knowledge of this poison was, of course, connected to Chang Zhao. This was a secret imperial poison, known only to the matrons serving the late empress. She had sworn allegiance to Chang Zhao and once used this poison to kill the crown prince. Thus, it was obvious who had harmed Chang Xin, and equally clear who his enemies were. To bring down Chang Zhao, crippling his legs alone wouldn't suffice. I needed to ensure he could never rise again. Chang Xin is the ally I've chosen. Not only is he benevolent and intelligent, but more importantly, he harbors deep, bitter hatred toward Chang Zhao. Back in the capital, before I knew it, November arrived. Chang Xin sent me a letter, announcing he'd found Ling Hua. Accompanying the letter were numerous exquisite jade artifacts. It was clear he'd offered his utmost sincerity. After all, He had previously been an unloved prince. The jade pieces in Wanyan Palace were few and far between. These might well be Chang Xian's entire fortune. I sent them back and then sought out father, asking him what he thought of Chang Xian. Father stroked his beard thoughtfully. I saw him during the autumn hunt. He is indeed handsome and graceful, no less so than the other princes. I smiled softly. How does he compare to the crown prince? Father glanced at me. The sixth prince has achieved nothing in court. How could he compare to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince? Achieved nothing? Then give him a chance to achieve something. After the new year, Chang Xian took up his post at the Ministry of Revenue. So much had happened that year. After recovering his health, Chang Xian's already striking features grew even more handsome. He excelled in both horsemanship and archery, subtly surpassing all the other princes. This earned him the deep admiration of Emperor Cheng, who himself loved archery. In May, floods struck the southeast. Chang Xian volunteered to go there. He built dams, dug channels, and after the floods receded, promptly contained the spread of diseases like malaria. Within 2 months, he resolved this problem that had troubled the court. On the day he returned to the capital, the political landscape shifted once more. Supporters of the crown prince dwindled, while numerous ministers switched allegiance to Chang Xian. Even within our household, I heard father frequently praise Chang Xian. Compared to the crown prince, Chang Xian was clearly the superior choice. This was evident to all, including Emperor Cheng. The increasingly neglected Chang Zhao gradually withdrew from the capital's power center, his position as crown prince becoming a mere formality. Ning Rou became his outlet for venting frustration. When she came to see me again, Ning Rou was no longer the resolute woman she once was. Tearfully revealing the scars on her arms, she knelt before me. Sister, please save me. These past months, whenever His Highness the Crown Prince has the slightest displeasure, he takes it out on me, blaming me for ruining his future. I simply can't bear the beatings anymore. I regret it. Because of her scandal with Chang Zhao, coupled with Chang Zhao's own flaws, none of the noble ladies in the capital were willing to marry into the Eastern Palace. Chang Zhao became addicted to alcohol. When drunk, he would take a whip and beat Ning Rou. Unable to endure it any longer, Ning Rou secretly came to see me. I helped her up and saw her once fair arms covered in scars. My heart ached for her misfortune. If you knew it would end like this, why did you ever agree? Now you're the crown prince's concubine, how could you possibly leave? Ning Rou wept even harder, repeating her regret. I never imagined the crown prince would be this kind of man. He promised to love me, to never betray me. You actually believed the lies of such an ungrateful man? I closed my eyes in resignation and let go of her hand. From the day you left the Ning household, no one could save you. Unless what? Ning Rou looked at me, her eyes filled with hope. I gave a cold laugh. Unless you can kill the crown prince. What? Ning Rou trembled, stumbling back in terror. How could I kill His Highness? She lacked the courage to resist, clinging only to the hope of someone else's salvation. But I'm no savior. I too fear rescuing yet another ungrateful soul. So I could only tell her the method, letting her save herself like Chang Xian did. If she refuses, then there's nothing more I can do. Watching Ning Rou walk away, I prepared to return home. Yet a shriek pierced the air. I halted, seeing a drunken figure appear before Ning Rou, seizing her hand. You bitch! You betrayed me too. A long sword pierced Ning Rou's abdomen. Her agonized scream cut off abruptly as she collapsed to the ground. I rushed over, lifting Ning Rou from the dirt. Chang Zhao stood over her, sword hilt clenched in his hand, eyes burning with hatred. He had actually killed Ning Rou. You're mad. I cradled Ning Rou, trying to staunch her bleeding. Chang Zhao stared at me through drunken haze. Snorting derisively, I am indeed mad. You two sisters are a curse. Ruining my entire life. He raised his sword to strike me again. But my martial arts training allowed me to kick the blade away with a single kick. Amid the chaos, men from the Crown Prince's residence arrived, accusing me of assaulting the Crown Prince and attempting to drag me away. I refused. As we stood in a standoff, the sixth prince's guards appeared and escorted us all into the palace. After piecing together the events, Emperor Jing slammed his hand on the armrest. Crown Prince, look at the mess you've created. Chang Zhao, mostly sober now, cried that he hadn't meant to do it. Chang Xin remained impassive, summoning the Imperial physician to inquire about Ning Rou's condition. The physician shook his head. Your Highness's sword pierced the child within Lady Ning's womb as well. Both lives were lost, there is no hope. What? Chang Zhao's eyes widened. Chang Xin and I froze in shock. She was already pregnant? Yes. Likely 2 months along. Though it hadn't yet shown. As the physician's words fell, the chamber fell silent for a moment. Emperor Jing closed his eyes. His disappointment no longer concealed. Chang Zhao murmured to himself, no. How could she have been pregnant? I thought of the previous life, when Ning Rou also drowned herself while pregnant, and Chang Zhao blamed it all on me. This life, however, he had personally killed his own child. Even a tiger does not eat its young. When Emperor Jing opened his eyes to look at Chang Zhao again, there was no trace of emotion left. I am weary. All may withdraw. Chang Zhao faced no tangible punishment outwardly. After all, he remained a prince, and Ning Rou was ultimately just a concubine in his household. As Chang Xin and I walked beneath the palace walls, he said nothing, only offering this consolation: the Crown Prince will pay for his deeds. My mind drifted, recalling Ning Rou as a child. Truthfully, our relationship wasn't close, but it wasn't particularly bad either. Both of us lost our mothers young, raised by our father. Her current situation stems partly from her own choices, but more so from Chang Zhao's ruthlessness. If she too were granted a second chance, I hope she'd never trust Chang Zhao again. I sighed softly, declining the sixth prince's escort, and left the palace gates alone. Only father and I remain of the Ning family. One day, father gazed at me and suddenly asked, Xiang'er has grown up. Is there anyone you fancy? I paused, then shook my head. Chang Xin once gave me half a jade token. Had I accepted it, I would have been destined to become the future empress. But I refused. In my past life, confined within the palace walls, I knew no freedom. This time, I wanted to choose for myself. Chang Xin did not press me. He simply took back the jade and wished me happiness. Truthfully, he likely never truly cared for me. It was merely a gesture of gratitude. I paid him little mind until this past December, when word reached me that Chang Zhao was near death. As Chang Xin's influence grew ever stronger, Chang Zhao's power crumbled completely. He sank into utter despair, hastily taking several maidservants as concubines. He indulged in debauchery and revelry, utterly lost in pleasure. Chang Xin made him taste the agony of poisoning firsthand. A taste of his own medicine. Chang Zhao's health deteriorated steadily. He held on until year's end, but finally succumbed. Servants in the Eastern Palace said he coughed up a large mouthful of blood upon waking one morning, then fell unconscious and never regained consciousness. Walking along the snow-covered riverbank, umbrella in hand, I suddenly found a new purpose in life. I want to go to the frontier, to see other places. The turmoil in the capital is nearing its end, and it's time for me to start anew. Ning Xiang. Suddenly, a voice called out from behind me. I turned to see Chang Zhao. clad only in a light robe. His eyes were bloodshot, his hands gripping the wheelchair as he stared intently at me. "You've been reborn, haven't you?" I remained silent, simply watching him. His expression shifted from doubt to certainty, then finally to realization. "Yes, you were reborn. That's why you chose Ning Row beneath the city gate. You're taking revenge on me." After waking up, a fragment of memory suddenly surfaced in my mind. Was that from my previous life? Ning Xiang. Answer me. I curved my lips. So what if it was? "You venomous woman. The throne was mine. Mine. You robbed me of everything. I'll kill you." So, weighing the options, I told Prince Jing, "I choose the crown prince." The icy river water poured relentlessly into his mouth. By the time anyone found him, he was already cold as stone. Emperor Qing reinstated Chang Xian as crown prince. The name of the former heir gradually faded away with the arrival of the new year. In early spring, I accompanied father to the frontier. Chang Xian saw me off on my final journey. By April, he too would marry the daughter of the Grand Tutor. "Wish you happiness." With those words, I mounted my horse and departed with the convoy. 5 years later, I routed the Turks and returned victorious. I became Xia Kingdom's renowned female general. When I entered the palace to see the emperor, I met Chang Xian's daughter, her face brimming with admiration. She tugged at my robe. "Lady Ning, Yao Yao wants to go to battle with you too." "That won't do. Yao Yao is still too young. When she grows up, General Ning will teach her martial arts." "Okay?" Chang Xian coaxed the little girl. But she clung to me, refusing to let go. I unfastened a jade pendant from my waist and handed it to her. "Let this jade be our pledge. When your highness grows up, this servant will teach you." Only after receiving the jade did Yao Yao finally let me go. Little did I know then that Chang Yao would one day become an empress renowned for both her literary and martial prowess. The era of enduring prosperity began at this very moment. The end.